Dot 7 to play the music. Da, 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 da.
Hi, everybody. Matt here from Matt Likes Comics, and welcome to the Sunday Superman Show. We have an interesting group of people joining us tonight. We have two first-timers, and we've got one who's been here before. Let's get a great Matt Likes Comics hand for Big Lyle Hobson, son of Crom, Bjorn, and Comics with Stevey D. Welcome to the show, guys. How's everybody doing today?
Doing good.
Good.
Yes, everybody out there is aware that Bjorn had some issues, but we're glad to see he's back and he's kicking back live on the show. Are you planning on running your show again this Wednesday, or is this the wrong week?
No, we only do it randomly. We don't have a set date. That's kind of part of the eclectic style. I actually have a live show, my first single one I've ever done on Tuesday. I'm doing my first ever monthly comic book free claim sale.
Wow.
Books, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put up 12 books at a time. And the only difference is you can't claim a wall because it wouldn't be fair. You can claim one book at a time, and every book, I have 120 books to put up here if it goes that long, and each and every one of them is free. I will ask if you want to donate to help me with shipping, that'd be great, but it's not mandatory. And I have just some weird stuff that I'm trying to make space for. They're all raw. Just to give an example, I have like a Batman 700 that's like in pristine mint condition. So I'm sure it's only worth like $38, but tomorrow I'm letting it go for the low cost of, free.
That is impressive. And by the way, it's things like this why I said you'd be amazing how many people have heard of you, even if they're not subbed to you necessarily.
Right.
You cast a very wide net, my friend.
That's a nice way to say I have a big mouth, but thank you, Matt.
Yeah. And Stevey, how's your channel going? I saw your latest one where you're playing the trumpet.
Oh yeah, I wrote a little theme song for my show, and you want to hear it?
Well, of course, we can always take a minute to listen to Stevey D trumpet. And what have you been up to, Lyle? Any big purchases this week?
Nope, still going through that collection that I bought, and I'll be showing some Superman stuff that I got out of that lot tonight.
Wonderful.
Thanks.
We're going to start tonight talking about Superman the movie, 1978. For those that watched this morning with Nate and Hagen's broadcast with Ricky, they got into a little, I don't want to say heated per se, but there was a little mockery of the coolness of Superman the movie this morning. And I wanted to take a few minutes to take care of it. But before we get into the discussion, let's take a moment to say hello to everybody who's joined us in the chat. We've got Mr. Thomas O'Donnell, who's number one. He says, hey, first. We've got Kay Munin. Welcome, Andreas.
Hey, Munin.
We've got Chonko, Comics Culture. And we've got Comic Mike. Hi, Comic Mike. Comic Mike was on the last show, so it's good to see he's come to see. Oh, we've got words here from Chonko for Crom.
Thank you, sir.
And also, Crom has a nice Silver Surfer poster.
It's metal.
Awesome. We've got Jerry Chick in the house tonight. Hi, Jerry. Comic Rooster. AG is joining us. Good to see you. And we have Kay Munin, who wants to see collection from Lyle. And there's this guy, Stevey. Stevey.
Yeah, hey, Steve. Long time no see.
So to follow up on the discussion they had this morning about Superman the movie, basically Ricky was saying that the whole 3-hour movie could be toned down to a 1/2 hour thing because Krypton apparently went on too long and the growing up scenes went on too long, that you only needed to see the part where, the father died and such. And basically the middle of the movie was the only part that was good. He said you could get rid of all the Lex Luthor. Here's where I disagree. The movie itself, being a 3-hour long movie, was only 3 hours when they created it for the television. They needed to add 30 minutes to the cut in order to make the time for the broadcast when it was originally broadcast on TV. The first runtime was only 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the scene where Lois Lane goes, "What am I thinking?" while they're flying around, and she's like thinking to herself. That was not in the original cut of the movie, as an example of stuff that wasn't there. Neither was the scene where, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Cliff Clavin from Cheers.
Cheers.
He was in the movie.
Yeah.
He was in the movie as a nuclear technician for the military. There's a scene where Miss Tessmacher hits the nuclear, goes to the bomb and makes the changes so that so that Luthor can take it over and reprograms where it's going. That was also not in the original cut of the movie. That was, obviously this was all filmed,
right?
But a lot of this hit the cutting room floor, right? So when the movie went out, there was also 6 additional minutes added to the Krypton part. So when you saw it in the theater, when you went to the theater, you did not see the same version that Ricky was making a little, I don't want to say mockery, but a little fun of, okay? And so when Hall watched it with his son last week, he was seeing the 3-hour, what's considered the definitive 3-hour version now, but not the theatrical release. So my question to you three is, do you think that the movie as it is right now with the 3-hour thing, do you think it's too long, and do you think there's any parts you could take out? If so.
Wow. I remember when that movie came out, it was 1978. And
yes.
it was long enough when we went to see it. But I was, much younger then, but I was happy with what was released in the theater at that time.
Yeah, and the point I want to make is it's a generational thing, because up to that point, superhero movies weren't made with a big budget and a very fine cast. And another thing is that Superman set the standard for future superhero movies, just as 2001 Space Odyssey set the standard for future space movies. And I remember when I was in high school, this when it came out, I went to the movies to see something else, and the preview came up on the screen, and I'm going, man, I got to see this. It was something different, to where Nate's and Hagen's generation and Ricky, when they grew up, they were bottle fed on all these superhero movies from that point on.
Yeah, because Nate would have been too young. To me, Superman the movie is a big deal because that was the first movie. I was 7 years old, and that's the first time my dad took me out by ourselves for just a father and son event. And he knew I was already into Superman because he knew I was reading his comic books and such. So,
right,
to me, that was a big deal.
And I'll add in a couple points from all of you. So, Steve, I had to remind myself that it's generational because I love those 3 guys, but my blood pressure was rising, to be honest with you. And because my memories of the movie are totally different in my generation. My father also took me not only to that movie, but it was the only movie he ever went to me with, ever.
Yeah.
He hated going to the movies. He despised comic books. Anytime he saw me reading anything, he said, "Those are going to rot your brain."
Exactly.
Throw them out.
I've heard that. I've heard that from my mother.
Yeah. And I bought a copy of Ghost Rider, like in a Marvel Spotlight, because my dad was the Hell's Angel looking guy from the 60s, early 70s. And I thought, her like this one. And he looked at it and, excuse my language, he said, "This is the stupidest shit ever." And he flung it across the living room. After like sticking in one page.
Yeah.
So he took me because I begged him. I literally begged and begged. And my final words to him were, "Dad, they say that we're going to believe a man can fly." And when he took me and I watched that, I was on the edge of my seat.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I didn't know Marlon Brando was the wild one back then. It was just some old silver-haired guy.
I know.
Yeah.
And the point I want to bring up is the fact that like they're talking about you could take out the entire Lex Luthor stuff. I'm sorry, but Gene Hackman is one of the best things about that movie after Christopher Reeve.
Oh yeah.
Not just him, but that whole dynamic between him and Miss Tessmacher and Otis, Ned Beatty.
Yeah.
Like that whole dynamic is hilarious. And you get to see also that Lex is, the charmer, but he's nasty. He's evil because of the comments he makes under his breath.
Two-faced.
Jokes. It's like, wow, this really, like, when you're a kid, you may not understand all the levels. But as an adult, when I see that, I think, wow, they really nailed this movie on a lot of levels. Now, again, yes, I believe it is generational. I believe that they may not see it, and it's true. I agree with you, but I was like, yeah, blood boiling is not the right phrase for me, but certainly I want you to comment about it.
Just my blood pressure, not boiling quite.
The boiling point.
Yes.
It was so much better than like the coolest thing before that I saw was Batman 66.
Yes.
I watched those episodes when they were coming out.
Yeah.
Monday was the first show, half hour, with they're trapped in some kind of thing, and there's a cliffhanger, and then the next night they get out and catch the villain. That was the formula. But then Superman came out, and it was like, wow,
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was absolutely like that. That's the thing. Everything was great. Like I always was a Superman fan above everything else as a kid, and that really does influence me. But I also had seen Star Wars at that point. I did see. I mean, like when I was 5, my parents took me to the drive-in to see Star Wars. So I had seen it. In the summer it came out. So the difference is Star Wars, because of its production and the true fantasy element. I think that one is intergenerational. Everybody who watches it can get into
I
it.
remember when that came out, it was great.
I think, but I agree with the fact that the Superman movies have sort of superhero movies have evolved since that. Maybe they're right in saying that sort of thing, and we're right in saying, they weren't there when they don't understand.
Oh.
Because I don't remember, was it you, Stevie, that put the comment in their chat about we watched it and was like, wow, we weren't timing anything. Like,
but I saw that comment, but I was just like, that was the next movie after I saw the preview. The next opportunity I had to go to the movies. That's the movie I went to, and I enjoyed it from beginning to end. And I knew about Superman from cartoons before comic books. And when we were little kids, my brother Kevin and I used to tie the towel around our neck and run around the living room and going, "I am Superman," and
tie a towel around your neck.
for a cape.
Right. Yeah.
2 years ago, my wife and I, we took our kids to Niagara Falls. I actually got my wife to take a picture of me like this at the spot where the kid was going like the right angle and everything. And I'm sitting there, I had my thing out looking at that Superman 2 movie to see what had the right angle. And I said, that's it right there. Take the picture right here. So right.
That's cool.
Robbie Josephs is asking what our opinion of 3 and 4 is. Well, we'll talk about that briefly, and then we'll get to the books. 3, I saw not too long ago. I was showing my son all of the Superman movies, and 3 was okay. It wasn't the greatest. I mean, if Lois had been in there, it would have been better. 4 was a little. You could tell that they weren't putting in the effort as much as at that point. It was literally. This is a contractual obligation. Let's get it over with. Let's make our money and go home. That's me. Have you guys seen 3 or 4?
It's been a long time ago. I wasn't by the time I'd got out of high school in 76, 77. So I saw the first one, and then you're on the workforce. You work
Right.
shifts, all kinds of stuff comes up. I may have seen it, in when VHS tapes came out, but I don't recall the storyline too well.
It was like a Happy Days moment where Fonzie jumps the shark. The last movie, the show's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Christopher Reeve is Christopher Reeve, and he looked great, but the writing was terrible for 4.
Yeah.
3 there were moments that were great. Richard Pryor can do anything.
Oh, Richard Pryor.
If you remember the scene where he has to get the security guard drunk, that's right up Richard Pryor's alley. That whole comedy stuff. That was great. I laughed so hard just when I watched it not too long ago. But think about this. Lana should have figured it out. Clark Kent was there, suddenly disappeared in a big field.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly Superman's there rescuing Ricky, her son. And then all of a sudden Superman takes off and Clark comes out from behind the car. Come on, Lana.
Actually, saw both in the theater, and I've never seen them again since then. But I was thankful there were movies, and they weren't as good as the first one for sure. The second one even, but
the second one had its moments.
Yeah, I've never rewatched them, but I enjoy the fact that there was a Superman movie.
Right. I mean, at the time they were great because what else was there to watch? Right. It was different times.
Richard, remind me later to give you a wrench to the channel. I don't think I can do it right now. Okay. All right. So let us begin by showing some books. We're going to start with Stevie D, and then we'll go with Bjorn, and then we'll let Lyle show a bunch of stuff that he's found in his new $15 purchase.
Yeah.
All right. So Steve,
no grails, just a variety of stuff.
So Steve, you got the floor.
All righty. My first book is World of Krypton #1. And why not start with Superman's baby picture?
Oh, very nice.
And somebody said to me, well, his hair's blonde. Well, everybody's hair darkens up. And a couple of pages in, it's the name of the city is so cool. Cryptopolis. And there's
yes.
Yeah. And that's an image of that. Now, I can't show him as a baby without showing him one of my favorite Superman covers as an old man. I love this cover. This is in my favorite covers episode, and will be in the feature in the next one. And this is Future State Superman House of L #1. And it's so majestic.
That's the alternate cover because I have the cover A. I wish I had gotten that one because it's much better.
Okay. And, well, Clark Kent always worked at the Daily Planet. And this is from the new 52.
Nice.
Superman 1. And in the splash page is they're going to demolish the old newspaper. And so you see the way it says, the way you have always seen the Daily Planet. And then they do a controlled demolition. And then there's the new Daily Planet, which is beautiful, So I'm just doing a few Superman things,
The back cover on that comic, was that a Hot Wheels and Superman?
It was.
Yeah.
This was back when they still, actually took ads in comic books.
Yeah.
Not long after this, they got rid of it because I think the ads in books today are literally only the odd video game, but mostly what's coming up in the next month for DC or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get paid ads much anymore.
Yep. And so Superman, like all of us, could have a bad day, and he's with his plastic man. And in the message bubble I would have for this would be, Superman, you better get your head screwed on right.
That's
pretty good.
Now, Matt sent me the Legion of Substitute Heroes, and where the villain was Ambush Bug, correct?
That is correct.
So I got this Ambush Bug, and I love it because I knew who the character was. I'm a Marvel guy mostly, and he knocked Superman's name off of the trade dressing and put his name there. I thought that was hilarious.
That was one of the most hilarious and ridiculous 8-page stories I ever read.
And I've been reading Superman for 2 or 3 days, getting ready for the show, because I know you guys are experts and everything. So I got this one with Crypto. He's fighting Crypto. There's, I think, 4 stories in this book. 4-star spectacular giant. And the story is terrible. The cover is terrific, but the story is goofy.
You can't go wrong with the cover.
Now, on my free comic book day, they let us get 3, and I got 4 on the way out. And the one I got on the way out was this one.
Awesome. Oh, that's a good one.
Nice. That's from the Superman Day. That's very cool.
Yeah. And this is the one I really like better because of how peaceful and serene Superman is. On that,
I can't complain. I'm going to put everybody up for a second because, of course.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the twinsy?
But I would like to point out, Steve, that one with Crypto on the cover, I don't have that one.
Wow.
There's
that's hard to believe.
I know. All right, let's get you back up there.
All right, and now this is another restart of the comic book, The Man of Steel, and there's an interior page I want to show you. I mean, one of the things I like about Superman is that he's wholesome. Him and Captain America share that quality about their character, I believe. And he rescues this little girl and two puppies from a burning building, which I thought that was really cool. All right, now
before we get going, it makes a reference back to the Superman movie where he rescues the cat from the tree, and the little girl tells her mother, and her mother's like, "Stop lying! Nobody flies!" Smacks her.
Yeah.
Oh, that was terrible, but funny.
Now, I was lucky enough to come in 3rd place on Matt's giveaway for one of his giveaways, and I was really happy because the books he was this series here, The Man of Steel, and it's a special edition. And was this Burns who did this? Yes. Yes.
It was John Byrne who did
John Burns.
He did the writing and the pencils.
And this is like in the story of Superman. That's how he illustrated Krypton blowing up with the rocket coming out with the baby in it. So that was that. And I'll just flip through these covers real fast because I have 2 miniseries, and this is one of them. And I think that's Lois Lane on the cover of this one. And then he's fighting some villain. I can't remember who it is.
That's Magpie.
Magpie. And this is Lex Luthor. He should have been a little balder, I thought,
Well, do you not notice, though? He drew him to look like Gene Hackman.
Yeah. And this is not Superman. The guy that's stone face white. What is his name?
Bizarro.
Bizarro. I can never remember that. And then I think that's Lana Lane here right here. All right, now this modern one that I got on Free Comic Book Day that cost me about $50, but I was happy to spend it. This is Superman American Alien, but that is not Superman. That is Batman, who's pretending to be Superman, and he's even wearing Batman's. No, it's Superman pretending to be Batman, even wearing his clothes. So, and this is a really racy kind of miniseries because it shows him in adolescence, and he's drinking beer and he's cussing and he's having adventures with lady folks, if you know what I mean. And interesting covers in that series. But what I liked and didn't like both at the same time, each issue, this is my favorite one, each issue has a different artist, and the art style goes from manga to whatever the other 6 artists wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I should stop there and let someone else have a turn.
Well, thank you, Steve. Steve, those were wonderful books. I particularly like those Man of Steel ones.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that Crypto cover. That was really cool. So we're going to move over to Bjorn right now.
So as you can see, I put what I have pretty much. I have the omnibuses, and I am infatuated with these new Superman comics. And I'm going to tie in why I'm infatuated with the other books that I'm going to show. So I was never a big DC collector first to start off with. I was Marvel. I actually liked the drama. I guess as a little kid, I wanted to seem more mature and read the more mature comic books, whereas DC was more fun, right? But once in a while, when I started collecting Superman for the first time is when John Byrne took over and rewrote it, right? Mm-hmm. And then I bought like the American Alien. I've had that. I had the All-Star Superman. When New 52 came out, I again went into Superman. I bought all 52. I bought all the actions. I bought all Superman Unchained. And I loved all those stories. And I was questioning myself before the show. I was like, why did I like those particular stories? I'll show you one that I have here. That all those comics that I had, by the way, I gave them all to Nate when he said he would love to have them. When I was getting rid of all my comics or trading them, but he didn't have anything to trade. And so I sent them to him for free. So he has my comics.
Nice. I mean, I have every book you mentioned. I have them too.
Yeah. So. And the ones I didn't give though, probably because I didn't have enough box space, but also because I'm madly in love with the covers, are the Batman Superman.
That's a cool
cover.
Yes,
I have those too. They're great. They are great. Jay Lee, I believe, is the artist.
Yeah, Jay Lee. I was shocked when I opened it up, and Jay Lee was also the artist on the inside.
Yeah.
Because I love Jay Lee. I feel like I'm reading a fever dream almost. His art is so beautiful to my eyes. They are. I'm just showing
a lot of the stories in that run were not quite the same as the rest of the New 52. They seemed a little different, and I liked that.
And it was like a new origin again. It was like a different Superman. There's a Dark Side picture. Here's a picture of him drawing Power Girl there.
Very nice.
Which is pretty cool. And I have a couple more. And there's, of course, the two sexy ladies. You have both Lois. You have Batman's and Superman squeeze. And
that's right.
If you've never read this, they basically go to Earth 2 and they meet Earth 2. And it's so fun because Superman in the New 52 doesn't even fly yet. He's still the jumper, like the Golden Age.
That's right.
And the old Superman says, "Would you like me to give you a lift?" He goes, "I got this," and he keeps bounding to keep up with them. And here is a simply gorgeous cover. I don't know why. I don't remember why the Huntress is in there, but look at that art. I mean, I showed some of these to my daughter, and she goes, "He's handsome there." So she really likes those. And so
Yeah.
why do I like these comics and the New 52? I think it all started off when I bought this comic, and I heard this is when I started when there started to be a comic book store in my town back in like 75-cent era, and there had never been one before. It was always off the rack. And I went there, and they were talking about a big deal, the new Superman's coming, or some big crisis is coming, which I did enjoy reading Crisis, except for
Came Union has a question. Which issue has the two females? He needs to add that to his collection.
the two females. You mean?
I think he means Catwoman and Lois. Yes.
Oh yes. Let me flip it upside down. I'll look here. That is issue number 13, Lucky 13.
Oh,
So the comic books that started me, without subconsciously, was this book right here.
Yes. What a brilliant story that was.
Brilliant. Alan Moore did a brilliant job. That's part 1, and that's part 2.
Part 2. Yep.
And I don't keep everything in plastic cases, but these mean that much to me. And I realized why I like 52. I like this story is because they're make-believe stories.
mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know, the original Superman was fun, and I just thought when I was young, I said, boy, he could blow out the sun if he wanted to. I just had that impression of him. He was just so powerful. Like, I thought he has no villains. He has to deal with silly guys that make jokes on him, or Lex Luthor, who's smart. But to me, he wasn't that, he wasn't as diabolical, in the 60s as he was maybe in the Golden Age or more recently.
Mm-hmm.
So what I liked is the make-believe stories, because I knew that there was a real Superman comic out there somewhere. But I love these fantasy stories to show different aspects of how Superman could have been. And if you've never read these are the 2 comic books you have to read. It has a surprise ending.
No. Those 2, it does help if you have a little bit of knowledge of the Silver Age.
Oh, yeah, for
But
sure.
you don't need to in order to understand that story. And that's the best.
No, not at all. And another thing I picked up back in 2012, I saw Steppo show these, and I looked all over for them, and I have the whole set I bought, and I also bought it from eBay or Craigslist, I think. I don't remember when.
Wow, Craigslist. That's
I have the Superman of America. The little membership thing, signed in ink, like Steppo said, signed in ink, Clark Kent. So that's
Cool.
I like having that. And I have the secret decoder. I'm not sure what year this is. I know the dates on this button. That's
right.
A lot of times the kits won't come with, but my vision, even with my reading glasses, I, for the life of me, cannot read it. And I have one thing that I don't know if it was showed, but I also have a redback.
Nice.
So the redback, these are worth a penny. So this would be worth 5 cents for you to buy in any store participating in Superman Tim stores, which there wasn't a store called Superman Tim store. It was any department store that sold boys' clothing. So it was invented. These were invented to go along with the newsletter, the Superman Tim, which Tim was like this boy that had like a watch that could make him go around in the future. And it was basically to encourage boys, to go shopping for new clothes and not make a big fuss about it. Which is pretty funny what they did, but it all started from the Macy's Day Parade when Macy's decided to do a Superman parade, and that kind of took off. So I don't have much more to show. I do have a couple slabs though I'll show. To me, this is the golden age because I'm one of those believers that showcase number 4 starts the Silver Age,
Yes.
not the Comics Code Authority, and I love this cover. Because I love anniversary covers. And plus, Superman on this issue looks just like Bud. He was my barber that my mom used to take me to every Friday to get the back of my neck trimmed. And so there's my copy of Superman 100.
That's such a beautiful cover. I can't believe how well. I think that's one of Kurt Swan's first Superman covers.
I didn't know that. That's nice to know. I know it says It says, let's see, Wayne Boring.
Yeah, Wayne Boring is on the inside. It's possible that's a Wayne Boring cover,
Oh,
but
no,
it sure
I remember.
doesn't.
I did the research. It's Win Mortimer did the cover.
Oh, Win Mortimer. He and Kurt Swan are very similar. And I think that Kurt Swan used Win Mortimer's look for Superman to develop his style to draw him.
Yeah, and I finally found a reprint of this because, of course, I can't read this like this, but it had 3 stories in it. It had toy Superman contest where he had little Superman like action figures. We tried to trap a cook. He had Superman as a substitute teacher, where, of course, by the end of the day, he taught them all a great lesson, how to be a good person.
Very nice.
And then they had the clue from Krypton, where some bad guy found a fingerprint on a little shred of metal that he knew must be from Krypton, and it matched Clark Kent's, matched his finger, his fingerprint. I don't know how Superman got out of that one, but I have one last book. If you didn't know, I think a lot of people know I'm a veteran, and I have 2 older boys that are probably old as you, Matt. One's retired from the Navy. One is retiring from the Navy. So
I'm 53 years old.
Okay, so they're a couple of years younger than you. I started early, so but we go back. 6 generations of my family has been in combat back to the Civil War, and we actually lost 3 of those people died in combat, including one at Pearl Harbor. Which,
I'm sorry to hear that. But...
Yeah, I'm going to do a special comic book about that and talk about it in about 3 weeks from now. But I love military history. If I have anything more than comics, I have war history from every war you can think of, anything that America was involved in or the world at large. And so I really wanted a Superman war comic, and I bid on this in an auction. It's only a 4.5 from 1943. So this is post Pearl Harbor. There was a lot of anti-Nazi, anti-Japanese stuff covers before that. But I really wanted a cover that was post Pearl Harbor when we were actually at war. And so I bid on this and I set my mind to it. I looked at the highest price it had sold for, and I didn't have to go over that. But in my mind, I was like, I'm going to go $500 over this price if I have to, because I'm winning this darn auction. And eventually the other person bidding against me gave up. So I am so happy to have a beautiful presenting copy of Superman 23.
Oh, that is nice.
That's great.
Biggie Shack has a copy of that too, but I think his is less than 4.5. It's a beautiful book. Just the whole swimming after the submarines.
Yeah, the look on his face and the look of the Nazis here, and it looks almost painful. His lips are so red, and I like that it also shows that it's not just a submarine, but as you would say, Matt, a swastika is right there. So it proves that this is actually a Nazi cover. And this is my oldest Superman book for sure. And last but not least, I just wanted to say, I know, Matt, you are the reason why I'm here, is because, and it's kind of inspired me to even buy these at all. Not that you told me to buy these, but just your love for Superman is so infectious. And
Thank you.
When these are done, I won't collect any more Superman, right? I have a couple slabs that I'm happy with. I won't do that. But I think, I'm not for sure, but I'm pretty sure that I have the black and white letter somewhere. I'll try to find it. But this right here, the membership, the decoder, the envelope,
I have that.
The red back and the button, I'm sending these all to you, Matt, whether you like it or not. I know your address. You can't stop me.
Okay.
So look for these in the mail, my friend.
I will.
And I know that you will probably... I like them, but I know you will appreciate them and never get rid of them.
Well, thank you very much, Crom. You are right on that note. I love Superman memorabilia. Like, hang on here for a second here. Here's something that, you know what I mean? Like, people, I was given this as a joke, okay? My wife's best friend, who I'd like to point out was the person who designed my logo and helped me get started with my first couple videos, recording and stuff. she thought it was hilarious to give me this Supergirl doll.
Oh,
And when I saw it, I actually went, "Yay!"
Yeah, that's cool.
You know. So I mean, like, it's amazing that the stuff that you'll end up with, and
I wouldn't have thought
boy.
you didn't like it. I would have thought. I bet you he lays down with that and takes naps.
not really. It's still in the box. It's still
Well, in the box.
looking good. I lay down with Invisible Woman because nobody can catch it. So thank you very much, Crom. We're going to move over to Lyle now.
Good books. Good books.
How you doing, everybody? Well, we had the free comic book day, and I picked this up because I was thinking of Matt. We all know Matt's a big Superman fan, of course. This was in it. I picked up 4 of them.
Yeah, I've got that. That was.
So I have a question for you. So in the lot that I bought, the 15 boxes, I've gone through 10 of the long boxes so far. So I got 5 more to go through. I'm going to do that this week. So in the 10th long box that I went through today, this comic was in it, and I looked it up because I was unfamiliar with it. But it states that it's the first appearance of Supergirl, but her name is called Cir-El, Cirl.
Yes, that I know that one. That's the new one from the future that claims to be Superman's daughter.
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah, she claims to be Superman's daughter with Lois Lane. Of course, that never happens, but that's what she claims.
Well, in the when I looked it up online, it says that she was a hybrid human Kryptonian created by Brainiac.
Yes, but she was given the memories of thinking she was Superman's daughter. Like so.
Well, in the long box, there was 4 copies of this. Do you have this issue?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And so in that other lot, it's in a little bit rough shape, but like I said, I don't throw anything out. So this is Superman 294.
Another good book, The Last Man on Earth. That one was pretty. That one was actually intense to read. I remember when I read it for the first time.
Like I said, it's got a few creases on the side here, but I have a better copy. But this is just what was in that collection. And this one here is Superman 298. This is a Neil Adams art from 1976.
That's right.
There's a bit of scuffing here. I don't know what happened here.
Neil Adams did the majority of the covers between 295 and 315, I believe.
That's cool. This is issue 327.
Nice. Cobra. Love that.
Yeah. I said they're not high-end books, but well, I kept them for this type of a show. This is I'm assuming it's from the 1980s series of Superman, issue number 42.
I like that one.
Do you?
Yes.
Do you have it, Steve?
No, I'm not a Superman collector. I'm a cover buyer, though.
Oh,
if I saw that in the wild, I'd grab it.
Issue 47.
Another one, Satanis there. She's
yeah,
that's pretty cool. Blaze and Satanis are brother and sister that not only are they fighting over hell, they're fighting over who can annoy the crap out of Superman the most.
This was from the run of Superman Man of Steel number 48.
Comic Journey, you're welcome to join on. This show is open to all.
And then again, the same run.
Lau wants to know if anybody's got Superman Meets the Quick Bunny. We know that Biggie does.
If we have it,
yes.
I'll have to dig it out, but I can't do that right now. But I will on the next time I'm invited on the Superman show. I'll dig it out. And number 50,
Crimson Kryptonite. Very good. Very cool story.
Number 56.
Very nice.
Yeah. Like I was out of town for a few days, so I didn't get a chance to actually go through them all and figure out if there was a first appearance or what in it, but I will just show it. Matt can be the orator.
Number 80. We did that book on Biggie's book club not long back. And we are currently doing parts of the death of Superman. We on Wednesday we're covering the second book, the Justice League one.
Right.
Justice League 69. For those that are interested in watching, we'll be on at 8 p.m. Wednesday. Eastern.
Issue 81.
81.
Yep. Number 84.
1, 2, 3.
Now that one is a very important one in the story. The kid Superman is holding. I don't feel bad giving away the spoilers in a way because this is a 25-year-old book. But if you're familiar with Cat Grant, and this is her son, and the toy man kills him.
Oh.
Gosh.
Oh,
And issue 99.
Very nice. I love the Agent Liberty was such a nice character too.
118.
Yes, this happens when Superman and Lois briefly break up because Lois needed some space to understand the ramifications of being in a relationship with the Superman.
Yeah.
They were engaged at the time, but they took some time apart. So,
This was the next couple of ones. I don't know if they were in the very bottom of a big box and they got kind of a spine roll, but it's a Superman family number 191.
yeah, I have that too. I've got the entire run of that one. That is a nice looking spaceship cover.
And this one's Superman family 185.
Another cool cover, but I believe that's an Earth 2 Superman.
Earth 2, yep.
Yeah.
And Neil Adams cover.
Wow. See, I did not know Neil Adams did Superman
Yeah.
family covers.
That's his name that you can see it here. Or you can tell.
Yeah, I can see it from there. That's how big it is. Yep.
And this one, it's got like a felt marker on it. I have it in a better condition, but this one's Super Team Family number 6.
Nice. Another one that I don't have tonight.
I'll send you the better copy then. The another Superman Family number 196.
Very nice. Again, I liked the fact that they had these Superman family story came out after Action 484,
Right.
when Lois and Superman got married on Earth 2, and those are the ones that are in the crisis and the dimension in the end. And the way that they worked together when they wrote those stories of Superman family in the late 70s there, early 80s,
Yep.
fantastic.
Who's this one?
Nice. I was just looking at that. I almost pulled that for tonight myself.
Oh, that was number 36. This one's number 29. Look at this crazy looking character.
Bloodthirst.
Yeah, Bloodthirst. Yeah.
The
Wow.
hype about that character never matched.
I got 3 issues.
Wow. Very nice.
And issue 28.
Nice. I pulled that one out to show tonight too.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that.
That's fine. No,
Number 22.
Yep.
There was a lot of these. This is the die cut cover.
the die cut. There were 4 of them.
Yep.
That one
was
is
one of them yellow?
Yeah.
Was one of those die cuts yellow?
Yeah, yellow,
Yes.
green.
yellow, green, blue, and red.
Yep. And then there's the Superman, the Man of Tomorrow, number 3.
Another good one. That Underworld storyline was interesting too.
And this other one here, Our Worlds at War, Superman. This is issue 171. I don't know anything about this. I haven't had a chance to
The
even
Fatal 5 is cool. They are a Legionnaire. They're a Legion villain that came back to the past here in this particular issue. And
And then,
I can't. The Fatal 5 are great. They're just.
and then my last one, I mean, I got a whole stack here again, but I'm not going to go through it. They're all of it. This one's called Superman, Our Worlds at War, Secret Files and Origins, number 1.
Nice. That one I don't have either because it's one of the ones that it's
Yeah,
one of the little side ones that I haven't had a chance to buy all of. I put a good
Right.
dent into them, but
This one's from August of 2001.
yeah.
All right.
All right.
That's it. There's no, you can show some now.
All right.
Good books. Good books.
Great books there, Lyle.
Thank you. I had some older stuff, but I'll show that next time you have me on.
Well, I'm just going to quickly go through some of the books that I brought tonight. Some have been shown already. I'll probably skip those ones. But one of the ones I wanted to start with, yesterday I discovered a new comic book shop in Ottawa that had opened up.
Cool.
Now he's a small guy, a small shop that's only open on weekends. But what was cool is that I've done business with this gentleman before. He is a follower, like he's subscribed to the channel, and I've seen you may or may not. I've seen the name Hall Rat Comics. He's definitely on IG. He's definitely followed a lot there, and he's been he's made comments on the YouTube videos as well. I picked up these 2 books from him that I had not had at this point. Both of these are Canadian price variants. We've got World's Finest 287 and 320. This week, I was a very lucky recipient of an AOK from from John's comic. I can't remember the third name off the top of my head, but it starts with an S. He sent me very generously. He sent me a copy of Superman 147.
Cool.
Which, of course, for those that are not in the know, is the first appearance of the Legion of Super Villains. And you've got Cosmic King, Lightning Lord, and Saturn Queen, comparative to Cosmic Boy, Lightning Lad, and Saturn Girl. And AG, who I know is here tonight, sent me this copy of Absolute Superman #1 that was signed by Jason Aaron.
Cool.
Nice.
Writer. And this Absolute Superman #1, Scotty Young cover, signed.
Nice.
Sweet.
Very cool.
Yeah. Those are very awesome. Now, the books that I pulled out tonight from my boxes, I'm starting with these are all Superman Man of Steel, which was the title of the one you showed there, Lyle.
Yeah.
With the cutout. Okay. I'm starting at issue 16 because I saw this cover and thought it's pretty cool, because if there's one thing that has been consistent since Action 1, Superman doesn't like it when a man beats on his wife. And it's stable across time and more, right from Action 1, it's in there. This is the first cameo of Doomsday, Superman Man of Steel 17.
Cool.
Awesome.
He's only in a couple panels at the end.
Nice.
And of course, number 18, first full appearance of Doomsday.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Yeah.
And we covered this one a couple weeks ago on the book club on Biggie's. This is Superman Man of Steel 19, which is the last issue before he dies.
Yeah.
Great cover.
Yeah. I like that he's bleeding there. Here's 20, which is Funeral of a Friend.
Yeah.
And as you can see, Matrix Supergirl is now considered the hero of Metropolis. And we have issue 21, where Jonathan Kent has a heart attack because he couldn't handle the fact that his son is dead. He survives this one, but later he passes on with Brainiac kills him. And here's the one with the emblem.
Yeah.
It's the first appearance of Steel. And we keep going on in the reign of Superman. Here's number 23. This book, Man of Steel, became the John Henry Irons Steel was the one who was the lead in this one for the time of the reign of Superman. And we have number 25, which is a nice close-up of Superman's face as he is finally risen.
Doesn't look very happy.
No.
And this is where you see that he's wearing the black
Black suit.
yeah, the black suit. Yes, he's on the cover there, Came Unit. He was a big part of that story, actually, if you want one that Nightwing's part of. Superman, the Man of Steel. Here, this is when he finally breaks out of the Matrix. and he goes out to Coast City. And this is when John Henry Irons thinks maybe this is the real thing. And now we're at the point where we're past all that, and this is number 27. Superman is back. Number 28.
Oh,
And here's one I think we've seen before.
Yeah.
This one, Biggie has been going on about this one for quite a while on his channel. This is number 30 because it's got these stickers that are on the bag that are outside of the this is a poly bag. The poly bag has the two characters on it. Inside there's the Daily Planet book, but there's no characters on the Daily Planet. You've got Lobo and Superman here, and then there's the sheet of stickers in the back that came with the book that you could put on, if you so wished, onto the bag to make it look even cooler. Here is Superman, Man of Steel 31. Superman is holding up the street so that everybody underneath doesn't die, because apparently there's a subway accident.
I just don't like Superman with long hair. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? He came out of the Matrix, and it was the 90s, so they let him have mullet Superman for a while.
Yeah.
This is the last one I picked out for today. This is
Oh, yeah.
Superman Steel 32 with the Bizarro. And, of course, I love that the trade dress is backwards because, of course, it's Bizarro who does everything backwards.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's what I brought today. Thank you, everybody who's shown up. I really appreciate it. If you're catching this on the rewind, I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed making the show. Everybody here has shown some wonderful books today. We had a nice little, yeah, exactly, diabetic Superman, their color forms. And then Lau, yep, electric blue Superman was worse than the mullet. I believe that's when Clark Kent had a ponytail. Oh yeah, so things were doing wonderful. Thank you, everybody who's come out to join us. I particularly want to thank Bjorn, Stevie D, and Lyle for joining me tonight.
Thank you very much.
I really, really appreciate it. You guys have all shown some wonderful stuff. Thank you for being with us tonight. And if you're watching for the first time and you haven't joined the channel, please subscribe. There will be a giveaway at 740 subs.
Cool.
Thank you very much. My name is Matt. I like comics, and I hope you do too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Buddy.